morning. I'm Michelle Book. I have the privilege of serving Iowans as the Food Bank of Iowa CEO since 2016. Food Bank of Iowa is one of 6 Feeding America food banks serving Iowa. We work together to make sure no Iowan goes to bed hungry. And I see several of my fellow food bankers here today. We procure free and reduced cost food. We keep it safe, and we get it to over 1,200 pantries and meal sites across all Iowa 99 counties, serving the needs of almost 400,000 Iowans who are food insecure. Together, we're the largest receiver of donated food in the state, accepting 28 million pounds of perfectly edible food last year, which we got to our neighbors in need quickly so they can fill empty shelves and daily nutritional needs. We can do this because we have amazing partners. I'm honored to be on stage today with 2 such incredible partners, Hormel and Hy-Vee. I'll start with Hy-Vee. Founded in 1930 with more than 500 retail locations across 9 Midwestern states. It's one of America's most recognized brands. In addition to selling top quality groceries, they're committed to making lives easier, healthier, and happier while providing a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee Sprague is with us today. She's the Director of Strategic Communications with over 20 years of experience in marketing and communications across various industries. Hy-Vee holds a bachelor's in business relations from the University of Northern Iowa and an MBA from the University of Iowa, a PhD maybe from Iowa State in the future.
Not, perhaps. We won't rule it out.
And Hormel was founded more than 130 years ago. Today, employing over 20,000 people across 40 production facilities worldwide, they provide nutrition for families in more than 80 countries. For this iconic company, good citizenship and business go hand in hand. We have with us today Chris Purdue. He is the Hormel Customer Service Business Manager responsible for Hy-Vee and Hormel collaborations. He began his career with Hormel Foods in 2009 and filled many roles in various parts of the U.S. before arriving in Des Moines in 2018 with the sole purpose of strengthening the value that Hy-Vee and Hormel together can provide to grocery customers. So we have some questions to get started today, and I'm really excited about this. So let's get going.
Sounds good.
37% of Iowa households don't have enough income to cover the cost of basic needs. 37% of Iowa households, over a third. I've had the chance to partner with both companies in my role at Food Bank of Iowa, and I know the direct impact, I know it personally, that you make for families facing food insecurity. Will you please describe how fighting food insecurity fits in your company's overall goals and strategy? And let's start with Hy-Vee.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Well, at Hy-Vee, our goal has always been to support the communities that support us. And we've been doing that since 1930. Our first charitable donation was $400 to the Boy Scouts in Lamoni. But what really has come to the fore for us, and we've always been supportive of food banks and local organizations that are working to fight hunger in all of our communities. But when the pandemic hit, we had an opportunity to really see how the unique things that we have at Hy-Vee can help in fighting hunger. We had vendors that came to us saying, we have all this fruit that we can't sell to restaurants. We have all this milk that kids can't drink because they're not in school. Can you help us give it to people? And so we were able to take our supply chain professionals, our distribution professionals, our retail stores. We set up a giveaway of peaches in Arrowhead Stadium parking lot because we had semis and we had stores in Kansas City and we had folks who needed food. So we were able to really look at the things that make us good at selling food, also make us very good at distributing food. And so we've really focused on how we can elevate that with partners like Hormel, through partnerships with Food Bank of Iowa and other pantry partners, to make sure that we are making lives easier and healthier, because life isn't easy when you don't know where your next meal is going to come from.
Thank you, Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
Chris, your perspective.
Yeah, you know, Hormel Foods at its core is a food company. So we see it as our job, as our duty to provide safe, nutritious, delicious, and affordable food to all communities. And battling food insecurity is a big part of that. You know, we have the current goal of donating over 70 million meals by 2030 as an organization. Not quite as big as the 100 million meals by Hy-Vee that they have. But you know, we donated over $10 million in hunger relief in the United States last year. And you know, we're very, very passionate about making an impact in the communities that we're involved in. So,
Thank you. Thank you. 42%. 42% of Iowa kids receive free and reduced price breakfast, lunch, and in some cases after school snacks. 42% receive those meals today when they're in school. Summer break and the holiday time is a hardship for many families. It's a time of scarcity. Hormel has a fabulous program called Hams for Hunger, which Hy-Vee brands as Hams for the Holidays. Chris, can you share a bit about this partnership? What does that program look like, and how has it been impactful in the communities where you host these events? We'll hear from Chris first.
yeah, so I'll say this is my favorite program of the year. It's something that I get to see from the very beginning as far as planning our businesses and developing, you know, unique promotions like the Buy a Ham, Get a Turkey Free promotion that we do at Hy-Vee, all the way to donating those hams to those communities. And Hams for Hunger, or Hams for the Holidays, is a program that's been around since 1989 with Hormel. We've donated over $16 million in retail ham value during that time frame. I put roughly about a quarter of that with Hy-Vee in our Midwest communities that we partner to make an impact in. And just since I've been in this role for the last 6 years, we've made a commitment to donate 5,000 hams per year, which you know is close to $1 million in retail value. So I love my job, but my favorite part of my job is not growing sales. I do love growing sales, but my favorite part of my job is working on partnerships like this with great customers like Hy-Vee and the other customers that I work with to make an impact in our community.
Hy-Vee, I know this is a very important program with Hy-Vee, and Food Bank of Iowa, the other food banks that are serving Iowa, and then the other Feeding America food banks have benefited from this program. Ham for the Holidays, as Hy-Vee sees it. Why? Why does Hy-Vee want to contribute in that way?
Well, as I said, it's all about supporting the communities that support us. And what I love about our Hams for the Holidays program, which started in 2017, is that we've been able to not only partner with great vendors like Hormel, with our food bank partners, we've also taken the Hams for the Holidays program and really put it out into the community. So we will do giveaways at local social service agencies. We'll partner with law enforcement who will come and hand some of those hams out. And they're really a necessary partner because we've got folks lined up around the block to get these hams. We've got folks filling parking lots, you know, 2 hours before the giveaway starts, and this is December in the Midwest. Thankfully, a lot of those events have been drive-through, so they can stay warm. But it's just a great time to showcase our partnerships, both with vendors, with food bank partners, with law enforcement, with local agencies, and get everybody involved and really elevate the level of awareness around food insecurity. And I know it becomes more of a headline issue around the holidays, but more and more, as Michelle and her staff know better than anyone, it's becoming a year-round issue. So that's our opportunity at the holidays to really elevate that issue, to get some attention, to celebrate the partnership and the good work that folks are doing in the community to fight hunger every day and put the power of Hy-Vee's brand behind it. And our folks, even though it's December, I was out in Lincoln, Nebraska last year, you know, walking door to door, giving away hams with the law enforcement partners. But our stores love it. They love being out in the communities. They're bringing hot chocolate for everybody. They really do embrace that opportunity to be a helpful smile, as we say, beyond the aisles when it comes to addressing need in the communities that we serve.
Well, you led, we didn't practice this, but you led right into my next question. Year-round, 1 in 6 working Iowa households 1 in 6 working Iowa households cannot make ends meet and often have to sacrifice medicine, a vehicle repair, rent, saving for retirement, saving for their kids' education in order to meet nutritional needs or go without. Hams for the Holidays is a great program, but it addresses food insecurity just once a year. Can you share more about your plans to address food insecurity year-round?
Yeah, I'll take that
Chris?
one first. I'm going to answer that two different ways. From my perspective and the great customers that I work with, like Hy-Vee, I spoke to it earlier. My job is to grow sales for Hormel Foods with our great customers. But the more important part of my job is finding solutions that can not only grow sales for our company, but make an impact in our communities. So we have the Great Hams for Hunger program. We've kind of piggybacked off that in a few other programs, like our Spread Smiles with Skippy, where we donated 11,000 pounds of peanut butter together a few years back. We also have a program with JDRF, who's working very, very hard to find a cure for type 1 diabetes. If you buy a package of lunch meat, natural choice lunch meat at Hy-Vee between April and August, 10 cents of that lunch meat is getting funded towards JDRF and their quest to find a cure for type 1 diabetes. So we have a lot of programs like that. That's my passion. That's my unique or niche passion within my role. Then also say from a Hormel perspective, we're battling this on multiple fronts. But we feel like if we can really solve it in our hometown of Austin, Minnesota, we have a new project called the Hometown Project for Food Insecurity. Where not only our goal is to work with our great partners like Hy-Vee and other organizations in that area close to Mayo, the great school districts and the government in that area, we really want to solve food insecurity in that community. But secondly, we feel like with the people and the organizations we're working with in that, we can find a blueprint that we can share with the world to help other communities battle that in their local areas. And so that's a huge goal of ours as far as not only making an impact, but finding a way to give that playbook to others. And then lastly, I'll say, unfortunately, disaster happens, right? We have these great programs planned that we do every year, but from time to time, terrible, terrible things happen, like the fires in Maui this past year, right? And if you don't know, Spam is like religion or a culture in Hawaii. And so we took that as the owners of the Spam brand, we took that personal, and we partnered with the United Way in Maui, and we donated 5 truckloads or 264,000 cans of Spam, to be exact, to donate to those communities. And then we took it one step further. Our brand team designed a T-shirt that Spam Loves Maui T-shirt, and we sold those online and to our employees, and we raised over $160,000 to donate towards making an impact in an area that really needed help.
My mom can make Spam go a long way. To feed
How about
feed a family of
264,000 cans?
6. Yeah. And I'm glad you talked about diabetes, because many people who suffer from food insecurity also suffer from obesity because they spend precious dollars on high carb, high calorie foods to fill the tummy. That leads to diabetes, obesity, heart disease. So tackling it on both fronts, I applaud Hormel for doing that. Ivy, your thoughts?
I need a Spam T-shirt now, Chris.
We can get you one.
Okay, we'll have to talk afterwards. No, as I said, it's working with partners like Food Bank of Iowa and our other pantries has really shown us the need for food assistance year-round. And so we've been addressing that through a whole variety of programs. We've got, as Chris mentioned, our 100 Million Meals initiative. I think we're at, don't quote me, 77 million meals so far that we funded through donations at the register, donations from our partners, and through Food Rescued as well. That's really an effort that we've ramped up with our stores when it comes to ready-made foods that, as Michelle said earlier, are perfectly great to eat. They just don't meet our standards for sale in the store, but can go directly to families who need them. At our recent Hy-Vee IndyCar race weekend in Newton, that was a few weeks ago, we were able to rescue 12 12,000 pounds of food from our hospitality suites and our concession stands that Michelle, and I see her colleague Emily here, were able to show up Monday morning and get those food items directly to meal sites. So those went to folks in need that very day. And those are efforts that we're continuing with our food bank partners and really trying to educate our store directors. A lot of them have been giving away baked goods and those kinds of things because those are easy. You know, they're prepackaged, they're easy to donate, and folks certainly are welcome, to receiving those things. But educating our store directors about, is it dairy, meat, fruit, things that aren't quite up to our retail standards but are still perfectly safe, still nutritious. Educating our store leaders about how to store those, how to work with our food bank volunteers to get those to the communities in need. So that's really a big focus for us year-round, is making sure that our store leaders are educated and confident. A lot of them just, they don't want to give away things that are going to hurt people. And so having Michelle's team and the other pantry partners who are educated, who have the equipment, the training, the knowledge to help our store leaders in that, it's a big focus for us this year and in the years to come. And then when it comes to kind of, elevating the food insecurity message, we've recently, in May, partnered with KCCI here in the Des Moines area on our Pack the Pantry initiative. They came to us saying, hey, we know there's a need, especially as we're going into the summertime, as kids are losing access to some of those school nutrition programs. Can you help us? So we were able to put bins in all of our, I think there were 33 central Iowa stores that had donation sites. And we were able to collect more than 35,000 pounds of food. Thanks to KCCI, they generously donated broadcast time, PSA time. We did interviews in the stores with our food bank pantry partners, giving them a chance to share their message as well. And to Chris's point, that's something that we hope we can take to our other markets and encourage store leaders and marketing leaders there to find broadcast partners and say, hey, this really worked. This really helped get the message out. This helped generate a lot of food for folks in a time of great need. Let's see how we can do this in other markets as well, because, all of you know food insecurity is not just an Iowa issue.
I'm glad you brought up food rescue,
Yeah.
Hy-Vee. Last year, with Feeding America food banks operating in Iowa, everybody, Feeding America food bank folks that are here from Iowa food banks, raise your hands, please. We have several folks that are here to help build awareness and represent our Feeding America food bankers. We accepted donated food of 28,800,000 pounds last year across all 99 Iowa counties. We have boots on the ground. They're out working with store managers to educate them as to how they can easily and safely do this. And when we've done that almost nearly 28 million pounds produced almost $55 million of tax credit value to the partners that are donating to us. Meanwhile, that saved families that are receiving that donated food, that saved them $88 million in grocery bills in Iowa last year alone. And I know we can do more. And that's not even talking about what we've saved in carbon footprint, 43 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent that we saved last year with food donations from our food donor partners. How do we do more? How can we do more? And very often, I'll tell you, I come to work early in the morning, there's a Hy-Vee truck backed up to the dock, there's a Hormel truck backed up in the dock, and you'll see there's public relations and media when these things happen, but a lot of times it happens quietly. But what would you say to other retailers, wholesalers? What advice would you give them for making the argument to donate within the Feeding America network?
I think for us, we've just found it's an education issue and a resource issue. And that's why organizations like yours and our other pantry partners exist. You guys have the infrastructure. It's been wonderful when we've look to elevate our food rescue efforts. Our food bank pantry partners come in, they make the connections with our store directors. They bring in the volunteers. They figure out alongside our store leaders, what's the best place in the back room to store this? Because we don't want it interrupting the flow, of what needs to happen in a back room. If you've ever been in the back room of a grocery store, it's the world's most interesting game of Tetris, how they keep everything together. How do we keep that flowing the way it needs to flow while still making the food rescue operation work? So I would encourage anyone to reach out to your local food pantry partner. They know who has that knowledge, who has access to those resources. And from a messaging standpoint, that's however many million pounds of food, Michelle, that went to people in need and didn't go in a landfill. So that's another great message for us as a retailer and for other food retailers out there. There's so many benefits to amping up your food rescue efforts. Not only are you giving it to people who need it, when they need it, but you're keeping it out of the landfills. And that's a great sustainability message as well that matters more than ever to today's consumers. They want to know that they're getting a good product from a company that's committed to doing good as well.
Yeah, and Chris, you can do good business and do good in the world. That's a mission statement from Hormel. What are your thoughts on food rescue, others that may not be participating as fully as they could right now?
You know, you mentioned it before, but you know, something our CEO, Jim Sneese, says often is good stewardship and good business go hand in hand, right? And I think as far as food rescue goes in that vacuum, I think it's about finding good partners and finding the right partners and finding the people that we can, you know, find a home, of impactful home for those situations where we are long on inventory or we do have something that's slightly off, but it's very, very safe, nutritious food, right? And so I know, Michelle, you've been a great partner to work on that with, and we appreciate your help there. But we need to find more partners to make sure that we're doing everything we can to do that. So.
Last year, just Food Bank of Iowa alone, we had over 4 million points of service through pantry service, meal sites. We are doing more and more with schools today. 40% of the individuals we served last year were children. Iowa can do better. Iowa can do better. Children are our future. We've pledged to put a pantry in every school district across our 55-county territory to make sure families are getting food at the school for their kids, for the entire family, to alleviate the pressure of poverty in that household. Summer's a tough time. We've got to step up and do more for our families. And I know you're focused on children and families and the need to feed the entire family. Just last words, Chris, on how you view food insecurity, building awareness for food insecurity, and what you hope to see for the future.
I view it as part of my job. And you know, I have a lot of responsibilities, but it may not be on my job description, but finding ways to make an impact in our communities with great partners like Hy-Vee, with great partners like the Food Bank of Iowa, that's part of my job. And it's something our company takes pride in, and I'm very proud to work for a company like Hormel that takes pride in that.
Thank you. Ivy?
When we were preparing for this panel, Chris and I both, we said, we're in the food business. That's what we do. We feed people. And that's our focus. Whatever that looks like, whether it's, selling high chai in the store or if it's filling up, a local food pantry. That was one thing that struck me. I was able to go on some of the deliveries back in May on our Pack the Pantry initiative and just seeing the food bank partners that are out there. So many of them are powered by volunteers, just people who are committed to making lives easier, healthier, and happier for those in their communities. That gave me a lot of hope, Michelle. It was very eye-opening to see the need and to have those food bank directors say this is going to be gone in 2 days. That was astonishing to me because food insecurity is such a quiet problem. It's, you just don't see it because it's happening in the homes, it's happening in the schools, and the people who see it and address it as best they can are just heroes, absolute heroes. And if we can come alongside them with partners like Hormel, with our food bank partners, and try to make those lives easier, healthier, and happier, that's something we're going to keep doing as long as Hy-Vee's around.
Well, Brian Losey gave a call to action, and I'll further that, Brian. Today, it takes about $28,000 for an adult must have income or resources of about $28,000 a year to cover the very basic of basic costs. Meanwhile, in Iowa, average disability is $11,000 a year. Average Social Security for an Iowan is about $12,000 a year. It doesn't take a CPA to do the math. There's a big gap there. So our older Iowans, our Iowans living on disability, are also at risk with food insecurity. Our veterans. In Iowa, we have legislated that every county have a VSO office. We're providing food to those VSO offices so they can get it to veterans as they come in for other services. And last but not least, making sure that our immigrant families, as they come to this state, have foods that will help them learn and grow and be the best that they can. Help build awareness for food insecurity. I'm not proud, I'll beg you. Help build awareness. Talk to your friends, talk to your coworkers, talk to your families, bring it up at church. Talk to your lawmaker. We need help. Hy-Vee said it's a quiet problem. It's got to get louder, and we need your help to make it louder. And I thank you for that. Thank you for being here today.